Cody Rhodes will be leaving WrestleMania without his undisputed WWE Championship, a veteran has said. The star may have a huge match at the show. Wrestling industry veteran Bill Apter was on this week's episode of Sportskeeda Wrestle Binge's Smack Talk, where he talked about CM Punk's match at WrestleMania and how it will affect Rhodes. Apter went on to say that Roman Reigns' match against CM Punk and Seth Rollins in a triple threat that was being rumored was not really what felt like a money match to him. Instead, he thought that a triple threat between John Cena, CM Punk, and Cody Rhodes made a lot more sense. He said that this allows Cody to lose his title without being pinned, as John Cena could pin Punk instead. The roar of the crowd at WrestleMania XL sent shockwaves through Lincoln Financial Field, a sea of impassioned fans eagerly awaiting the night's biggest spectacle, the defense of the WWE Undisputed Universal Championship. Cody Rhodes had climbed mountains to get here, fighting through adversity, heartbreak, and the weight of his family's legacy. And yet, by the time the final bell rang, he had lost everything without even being pinned. The night had all the makings of an epic conclusion to Cody's long and arduous journey. His battle against Roman Reigns the previous year ended in heartbreak, but this time, he walked into WrestleMania as champion, having finally dethroned the tribal chief in a grueling match at SummerSlam. The American Nightmare was the man to beat. The hero WWE Universe had rallied behind. But in professional wrestling, fairy tales rarely have simple endings. And on this fateful night, one shocking twist would leave the world stunned. Cody's title defense wasn't a traditional one-on-one encounter. Instead, WWE officials, seeking to add an unpredictable element to the biggest event of the year, announced that the main event would be a triple threat match. The champion, Cody Rhodes, would defend his title against Roman Reigns, the former champion still fuming from his dethroning, and the imposing force of Seth Rollins, who had clawed his way into title contention after winning the Royal Rumble. For Cody, this match presented a worst-case scenario. In a triple threat match, a champion does not have to be pinned or submitted to lose their title. The odds were stacked against him, and he knew it. From the opening bell, the match delivered the chaos fans expected. Cody fought with every ounce of heart he had, countering Reigns' brute force with agility and strategy, while matching Rollins' technical prowess with his own high-impact defense. The crowd was electric, chanting for their champion as he delivered a crossroads to Reigns. But before he could make the cover, Rollins broke up the pin with a perfectly timed stomp. The momentum shifted back and forth, and the desperation in Cody's eyes became more evident as the match wore on. As the match reached its climax, Cody seemed poised to retain. He had thrown Reigns out of the ring after countering a Superman punch with a disaster kick and set his sights on Rollins. He hit one crossroads, then another, the audience on their feet, knowing the end was near. But before he could execute a third, a sudden disruption shattered the moment. The beast incarnate stormed the ring, his presence alone sending a shockwave through the stadium. Cody, caught off guard, had no time to react before Lesnar hoisted him up and delivered an F5, sending him crashing onto the mat. The fans booed with thunderous disapproval, furious at this blatant interference. But before anyone could process what was happening, Lesnar delivered another F5, ensuring Cody was left motionless. Rollins, seizing the opportunity, staggered to his feet just as Reigns rolled back into the ring. With Cody incapacitated, Rollins turned his attention to the powerhouse before him. Reigns swung for a spear, but Rollins countered with a pedigree. Before Reigns could recover, Rollins delivered a curb stomp, the force driving the former champion's face into the canvas. The referee, seeing Cody still unconscious from Lesnar's attack, counted the 3. The stadium erupted in both shock and anger. The injustice of it all was palpable. Cody Rhodes, the man who had fought so hard to complete his family's story, was now dethroned, yet not because he was beaten fairly, but because outside forces had intervened. The camera panned to his motionless body, his championship now in another man's hands. Veteran WWE Hall of Famer and former champion JBL, who had been watching from the commentary booth, wasted no time in sharing his thoughts. "This is highway robbery," JBL thundered. "Cody Rhodes just got screwed out of his championship, and he didn't even get pinned. I've been in this business for decades, and I can tell you, this is as dirty as it gets. But you know what? Cody's been through worse, and I promise you, he will not let this slide." As Rollins celebrated with the championship, Cody finally stirred, the realization hitting him like a ton of bricks. His face twisted with frustration and betrayal. He looked toward Lesnar, who smirked from the entrance ramp before disappearing backstage. The fans booed, their fury evident. This wasn't how it was supposed to end. The injustice of it all ensured that Cody's story was far from over. If anything, this setback would fuel him further. The WWE Universe had witnessed the ultimate nightmare for the American Nightmare. But if history had proven anything, it was that Cody Rhodes wasn't one to accept defeat. He had fought through hardships before. He had rebuilt himself from the ground up. And if WWE thought he was simply going to walk away after being robbed of his championship, they were sorely mistaken.